Brought to you by
How to get points. Just use MTN to make calls, send SMS, load airtime, buy bundles, or pay for MTN subscription services.
everywhere you go. MTN.
Uganda's COVID-19 positive rate drops from 21% to 3.4%. Vice President Jessica Lupo challenges ministers to live by the oath of secrecy. While Euromonitor releases damning report on illicit alcohol trade. And in sports, Bunyoro braces for revving aces as top drivers rest to Kabalega rally.
Was brought to you by everywhere you go. MTN.
Hello once again, Elizabeth Nakakoni joins us on sign language. I am Rodha Ngonzi. Let's dig into it. The Ministry of Health has set up response teams to deal with escalating cases of COVID-19 in Kampala, Teso, Acholi and Lango. The increase is attributed to mass gatherings, burials, weekly markets and weddings. As Ivan Kawa reports, the administration of vaccines remains low across the country. However, by December this year, the 4.8 million target population shall have been vaccinated. Let's take a look.
Uganda's COVID-19 positivity rate has dropped from 21% to an average of 3.4% in the past 10 days. Daily average number of confirmed cases have declined and stabilized at 124 cases over the last 1 month from 1,440 at the peak of the second wave in June. Daily average number of deaths have also declined from 57 to 6.
This means we still lose on average 6 people every day.
Hospitalization remains predominant among those above 50 years, and 61% of those who died in treatment units had comorbidities. The Delta variant continues to ravage the country, and the Ministry of Health reports that more females have been infected with COVID-19 in the second wave than males compared to the first wave.
That burials are mostly attended by females. The majority of those who go to pray are females. And of course, they go along with the children.
The ministry has also observed high levels of complacency since the lifting of various sectors from a countrywide lockdown. In September and October, 3 regions have registered intense cases. Teso sub-region in the districts of Soroti, Katakwi, Ngora and Kalaki. Acholi sub-region in the districts of Amuru, Gulu and Inwaya. Lango sub-region in the district of Oyam.
The main drivers of transmission in these districts have been identified as mass gatherings, for example, burials and weddings, weekly markets, the subsequent social activities and interactions, including drinking alcohol after market days.
So far, 2,378,171 million doses have been administered to the population, while 34.2% of health workers, 19.2% of security personnel, 14.9% of teachers, 1.7% of elderly 50 years and above, and 1.8% of people with comorbidities have received full doses of COVID-19 vaccine.
These numbers are still too small. With increased availability of vaccines, I urge those eligible to get vaccinated.
The ministry will receive 5,342,400 doses through donations and 3,260,400 through direct procurement, which will be sufficient to vaccinate 13.5 million people.
Therefore, the priority population of 4.8 million should be fully vaccinated by the end of December 2021.
Meanwhile, the administration of AstraZeneca and Pfizer as first and second jab is proven useful.
The rest is all at a level of a study, so we do not recommend that. And the first recommendation for all countries everywhere is that don't mix.
Dr. Jenroth Acheng argues that her ministry is considering mandatory vaccination of health workers.
Civil servants are permanent and pensionable staffs. No one will touch their salaries. But it is important to stay alive and you have to question yourself whether we have to beg you to stay alive or you want to stay alive.
The ministry plans to have vaccination points in places that attract large congregations and increased rates of transmissions. Ivan Kahwa, UBC News in Kampala.
Now, as mass vaccination against COVID-19 continues, thousands have turned up for the exercise in the last 2 days. However, as our reporters note, people with disabilities, especially those with hearing impairments, have faced communication challenges for interpreting the COVID-19 consent form.
Information about you. Let your contact be your contact, and let...
As COVID-19 mass vaccination continues, masses are flooding vaccination centers to get their jabs.
Okutuuka wano n'ekibadde kyangu kubanga okutuuka ku basawo kitwalidde kikanga 15 zokka kitegeeza tusinga na bulijjo tubadde n'enteekateeka ennungi bweti ndowooza nga singa tuyita ne mu 50% kubasobodde okufuna vaccine eno.
Nze guno omulamwa ngusanyukira nnyo lwa nsonga kubanga bannayuganda endwadde nnyingi ezijja tukola ki tutaganya nga mu kusooka waliwo polio yatugumbula abanaalemeza abantu.
The ongoing exercise has attracted people from different walks of life, including those with disabilities. The ongoing arrangement for vaccination in some major centers we have been to, people with disabilities, mostly those with hearing impairments, have not been catered for by the Ministry of Health.
One of the challenges that we are facing here is people who cannot read and write, and at the same time they are dumb and deaf. People with special needs. You find out that specialists in the same are very few. Like the gentleman you just saw, it took us 45 minutes to come up with someone who could talk to them and interpret. And of course, we cannot make someone get vaccinated when he has not consented.
The 22-year-old Asha Ndagire, with no training for sign language, volunteered to help translate the consent COVID-19 form, which is mandatory before vaccination.
So nasoma ne bakasiru nga tebongera ate enkolera ndisivinga bakasiru kyeteka mukozi ndi friend lije bali banyumira nga nzomuntu okubera nga nkozesa ko ku ludimi olulala lutali nti just oyogera kyo nenkyagala.
As of today, 2,378,171 people have been vaccinated against COVID-19, cumulative cases standing at 1,248,064, with 239 active cases, cumulative recovery standing at 96,321, with 3,179 dying of COVID-19. Sadam Mubale, UBC News, Kampala.
And back to our first story, the Vice President of the Republic of Uganda, Jessica Lupo, has challenged members of the cabinet to embrace teamwork to ensure effective service delivery. Lupo urges ministers to avoid cliques and uphold the recently taken oath of secrecy to avoid jeopardizing government's quest for Uganda's development. She was speaking during the opening of ministers' induction and retreat held at Kololo Ceremonial Grounds in Kampala. Let's take a look.
This induction was meant to acquaint recently appointed members of the cabinet with what it takes to be successful in their mandates.
The qualities of the ideal cabinet minister are judgment, strength of character, experience of affairs, and an understanding of the ordinary people.
It was officially opened by the Vice President of the Republic of Uganda, Alupo Jessica Rose Epel.
I am confident, however, that this cabinet induction is essential in arming you with information and knowledge as we discharge our duties as cabinet members.
She emphasized teamwork for effective service delivery.
Let's work as a team among ourselves as cabinet colleagues, but also with technical people in our sectors. Secondly, let's be accountable for our actions and how we spend our time. Thirdly, let's always stick to already established policies as we discharge our duties.
This message was welcomed by other members of the cabinet who called on colleagues to take seriously their mandates.
Personal interests cannot override the national interests. Whatever you are doing, if you cannot go with the government position and you're in the cabinet, then get out of cabinet.
I'm happy with the guidelines from the Vice President that please work as a team, internalize the NDP3 and the NRM manifesto, and also to ensure that we work, putting ahead the presidential directives of working in cohesion.
So the minister has to know how does he or she relate with the permanent secretary, with the other public servants? How does he ensure that he represents the interests of the ministry in the parliament, in the cabinet, in the public?
As to whether government is concerned about the vacant ministerial position of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, this is what Dr. Chris Baryomunsi had to say.
There isn't a gap per se. The Attorney General and his deputy cover that position, and therefore there is no vacuum at all.
The two-day retreat has brought together cabinet and ministers of state. Permanent secretaries are expected to join on Thursday, with President Yoweri Museveni expected to officiate at the closing ceremony. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Now, insufficient funding and understaffing have been cited as some of the main reasons for government's delayed response to emergency situations. This underscores the need for an annual budget and recruitment of field personnel for proper disaster management. Now, the Minister for Disaster Preparedness and Refugees, Hilary Onek, says the current rains will continue up to December 2021, which may come with disastrous effects.
The ongoing rains may be welcome, especially for farmers, but the after effects could be disastrous. This has often been seen in floods, landslides, and mudslides. It is a situation that was predicted using the Natural Disaster Emergency Coordination Centers.
We have tried to make these disasters predictable. We developed a center which we call National Emergency Coordination Center, where we work together with the hydrometeorological systems globally and also nationally, and we can forecast with reasonable accuracy, such happenings like rainfalls and droughts and so on, for a period of more than for a duration of more than 6 months.
Despite some measures taken, the response is still wanting, a challenge attributed to funding gaps.
We face challenges. The food we buy is not adequate to cover the whole country, because this disaster now is covering the entire country, not only in areas of the traditional area that we know are suffering from disaster arising from those natural causes. So the little resource that we get, like recently when we got about 10 billion, we got food, but even that 10 billion cannot cover all this from Toroko, go to Kasese, come all the way to all these districts.
The situation is worsened by the challenge of understaffing in the Disaster Response Department. Minister Hilary Onek looks forward to seeing this addressed.
Some of our departmental heads and so on have been interdicted, and up to now we haven't filled the vacancies. So these are some of the challenges we have, because we have shortage of manpower, which currently we are trying to address to see if public service could advertise those positions and we get them filled so that we have manpower on the ground.
Ugandans have suffered with floods, rising water levels, lightning and hailstorms. These have left some people displaced, homeless, and sometimes dead across the country. Constrained to respond at some instances, the Ministry for Disaster Preparedness is calling for more funding.
When gardens are flooded, our people depend on cassava. So the cassava tubers get rotten, etc. So really, it brings about famine to these people. Agriculture then becomes not sustainable because with the wet soil, you cannot do much in terms of gardening and so forth.
The current rains are projected to continue up to December of 2021 before the dry season sets in around January 2022. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Now, a section of members of parliament want government to urgently come up with a custom-based recovery plan for private education schools to address the economic strain associated with the COVID-19 pandemic. They also want government to carry out a census to establish how many schools are most likely not to reopen due to financial stress. The petitioners met the Education Committee of Parliament to justify their call.
We noticed that in pre-primary, 100% education service is provided by the private sector. Government is not there. In secondary, 78% is provided by the private sector. Tertiary, 73%. So you can see the private sector is playing a very big role. Remember, government liberalized it. If government is opening schools in January, let there be a fund in December for us to be able to prepare. Otherwise, your students will go back to school and they will find no schools there. And again, we're also asking government to go and carry out a census, find out, are these schools still there? Some have closed, some were renting and they have gone away.
Here, that's why I'm begging, praying to the Education Committee to see that we assist the private school to stay in existence by helping them go through this period of the COVID-19 effects they got.
The former president, Forum for Democratic Change Party, Dr. Kizza Besigye, has challenged Ugandans to put political differences aside, unite and come out with a common voice for development of the country. Besigye was speaking as the chief mourner during the burial of the fallen former member of parliament for the then Madi-Okolo County, John Drazu Arumatri, who has been one of the founders for the FDC.
The former member of parliament for the then Madi-Okolo County and also one of the founders of Forum for Democratic Change Party, John Arumatri, passed. The former president for FDC, retired Colonel Dr. Kizza Besigye, attended the burial. Besigye said that the most important thing Uganda needs now is to have a better foundation for development of the country, regardless of political differences.
I want to tell you that our difference is not FDC, NRM, I don't know, yellow, blue. No. Our only problem is what Arumatri stood for. How we build the country. The question is whether we have the foundation on which to build the country. Do you have equal opportunities? If there is a business that there is a tender and the best person gets the tender. So let's not fight about these parties at all. We are brothers. The Honorable Biga Kanya, we were together. I was actually the national political commissar. So when I see him, he should salute me. The only difference is justice.
Dr. Besigye hailed the late former legislator John Drazu Arumatri for having played politics of development for the people of West Nile and the country. Minister for Lands in charge of urban development, Honorable Mario Obiga Kania, who represented the government, said political disagreements should not tear leaders to negatively affect development.
What you disagree elsewhere cannot be what I disagree. And I'm happy that the Honorable Colonel Besige has said the issue should not be where you belong, but the issue should be what contribution can you make from where you belong. This post office which you now see is dying because of modernization, because of electronics, was started by such people. Integrity of service. And this goes across to all of us. Whether you are in NRM, whether you are in FDC, whether you are a priest, serve where God has put you, knowing very well that at one time, what will only be left out is the good that you have done.
Bishop of Lera Catholic Diocese, Bishop Sanctus Wanok Lino, described the late as a reliable politician who loved doing the work of God.
Arumadi, in terms we would say is a philosopher, is the one who sees life where there is impossibility, as the doctor even read very well. He will say, this I cannot do, this I can do. The contrast in life, I need help. If there is any politician who ever rang me for the need of prayer, is Arumadri.
The late John Drazu Almadri was found dead in his house at Ediofe in Arua City on Thursday last week. The postmortem result shows that he died of blood clot in the heart and abdominal aorta. Late John Drazu Almadri served as the Member of Parliament for the then Madi Okolo County for 10 years from 2001 on FDC ticket, after retiring as Principal Manager, Uganda Posts and Telecommunication in the year 2000.
May his soul rest in peace. Soroti High Court has dismissed an election petition by former MP Ngora David Abala filed against Achayo loaders with no costs. Honorable Justice Jenoku, who presided over the hearing, said that after looking into the declaration form and totaling the votes, Juliet Achayo Lodu still maintained the lead and she was the winner of Ngora County election.
There was tight security outside Soroti High Court during the hearing of the election petition filed against Juliet Achayo Laudu for Ngora County Member of Parliament seat. Honorable Lady Justice Jen Okow Kajuga dismissed the electoral petition case filed by former MP Ngora County David Abala with no costs. The judge in her ruling noted that Abala's election petition was dismissed on grounds that after looking into the declaration form and totaling the votes, plus compiling all the results from the 65 polling stations, Juliet Achayo Laudu emerged the winner with 11,566 votes, while Abala got 11,082 votes. David Abala, the former Ngora County Member of Parliament, challenged Achayo's victory in Soroti High Court, claiming that he was the rightful winner of the January 14, 2021 elections. Abala was first pronounced by Ngora Electoral Commission as winner by the returning officer of Ngora District on 15th January 2021 with 8,317 votes, while Achayo got 7,828 votes. But his victory was turned down after the National Electoral Commission overturned his victory after recount and announced Achayo Laudu. Abala then ran to court to try to secure his earlier victory.
Final results that were counted at the tally centers, at the polling stations, the judge has declared them valid. So what is important is that the outcome of the election is that Juliet Achayo won. So these are the claims of fraud and what they have been investigated extensively.
David Abala, by the time of ruling, was not present in court, but he was represented by his lawyer, Philip Ngulu. Juliet Achayo Laudu was excited over the court ruling and promised to provide services for the people of Ngora County.
Well wishers, my voters, for standing with me during these trying moments, especially you know how a petition is disturbing. It disrupts you from your constituency duties. Yes, but I'm very happy that court has found no merit in this petition, and now I'm ready to serve them diligently. I'm going to be at their service.
However, Evans Acheng, the lead lawyer for Juliet Achayo Laudu, expressed happiness and embraced the court ruling.
It was extensive. I think the judge did a good job, did a thorough analysis that an election must not be cancelled because of some flimsy reasons.
Meanwhile, Usafi market traders have protested against what they termed as illegal collection of taxes by KCCA traders, noting that the president had issued a directive that all taxes be revoked, but to their surprise, taxes are still being collected.
Mr. President, tuyambe tata, tuyambe tusana ukesi zetu zizekwa na abasirikale abasula batu.
Traders in Usafi market in Kampala have protested against what they termed as illegal collection of tax revenues by Kampala Capital City Authority enforcement team.
Tuwesampoza nga president nanini gwanga yalagira tetuddamu kuwampoza bannakigwanyizi basaba akali okutubba
zinepinga mizikazo byawasente nga bikikozi tusasule mpaka kyetajja kukola.
Traders attest that the president issued a directive to specifically halt all Usafi market tax collections with the exception of garbage.
President tuyambe ababbi bali wano batubba empoza twagana okusasula olw'ensonga president yatugamba situddamu kuwampoza.
According to the letter written by the president to the then Minister of Kampala Affairs, Betty Among, dated 25th of September 2020, the president raised concern on the ownership of markets and high taxes collected from market vendors, which he banned with immediate effect.
Wayisa ekiragiro ku butale. Ekiragiro kino kyawera abakulembeze ba association bonna ez'obutale abali benyigidde mu kusolooza sente zimenya amateeka.
However, to the traders' surprise, the letter dated on 8 September 2021 from Kampala Capital City Authority under the Directorate of Revenue Collection clarified that revenues were only applicable to market stalls, lockups and market pitches, but not offloading fees, something that traders protest.
Omusolo gwe batugamba teguliyo kubanga bagamba batujjako offroad fee, of which offroad fee bakulaga nti yandibadde esasulwa balimi, wano tewali mulimi, ffe bavenda era ffe banyini pitches ezo. Wano tekuli mulimi ate baneteeka empapula ze bayiyagira gye bagingirira mbuza abalimi, wano teri mulimi, ebintu bigira akamanya gaffe nga bivudde mu kyalo era ekyokulabirako olwaleero emmotoka zonna zikwatiddwa era ebintu byonna bidibye biri mu katale saawa zino.
The Kampala Capital City Authority on its response had this to say.
Yes, there are taxes that were removed by His Excellency, and there are some that are supposed to be collected. What the problem, I think, is a bit of talking to these people and sensitizing them and making them understand that these are the taxes that have to be collected. These ones are not the taxes that are supposed to be collected.
Sada Mubale, UBC News, Kampala.
Preparations are underway in Moroto district as site severs come together to mark as site severs come together to mark World Sight Day, held annually on the second Thursday of October to focus global attention on blindness and vision impairment. Now, the theme Love Your Eyes has been chosen this year to emphasize the importance of eye health for everyone.
World Sight Day is an annual day of awareness and education around blindness and visual impairment.
We operate about 15 cases of cataract surgery. Then the remaining cases, like minor surgeries, it depends on how the patients come in.
This year it will be celebrated in Moroto District on Thursday, 14th October, with the theme, Love Your Eyes.
On a rotational basis, region by region. So the last time we celebrated was in central Uganda. The other one was in northern Uganda. So this time we selected the far northeast Uganda, and that's why we are in Moroto.
Dr. Stanley Bubichiri, the Assistant Commissioner Minister of Health in charge of disability and rehabilitation, has reiterated the importance of this day.
Constructed a new eye department in the region, and that is in the Moroto Regional Referral Hospital, which is ready for launching.
Light for the World is a partner with the government of Uganda, Ministry of Health, and we are into capacity building. We are having a program known as Child Eye Health 123 I Can See Project. It has started this year, and we are training teachers to be able to identify the children with eye problems.
Dr. Bubichiri added that the Ministry of Health has a strategic framework for the eye diseases.
We network with our partners through the National Prevention of Blindness Committee. I happen to be the secretary, and my top people at the ministry chair the meeting.
Civil organizations have come together to raise public awareness of blindness and visual impairment as a major public issue.
For the Ministry of Health, which is our major partner within the country, and the government that is giving sight savers the support that it requires. For us as an agency, we support the government structures so that activities we do are sustainable. For us, we come in to support because we know government's role is to provide this service, but for us, where there are gaps, we come in and we support the government.
Nantongo Rovinsa from Light the World Uganda says they partner with the Ministry of Health to provide affordable spectacles to the vulnerables.
Because we are partners with the Ministry of Health, we as Light for the World do support the provision of subsidized spectacles, and the workshop is found in Entebbe.
The Ministry of Health and partners have organized a number of activities in Moroto District where screening, surgery and treatment of eye diseases are rendered to the public. Haruna Mtei Sasira reporting for UBC News in Moroto District.
With that, we take a quick break. When we return, more details. This is News Tonight.
I smile when I think of you, Uganda, my home. My home, I dance when I look at you, Uganda, my home. Oh, my Uganda.
I know with you I'll always stay forever. I know, because I feel that we belong together. My home. On my heart, mommy, oh my Uganda.
Hey, mama. At MTN, we look forward to starting another exciting journey together to grow our home, Uganda.
Getting GoTV was the best decision James has ever made. Finding a good place to watch football was never easy, but it was costly until James discovered something big. Now he can finally enjoy the benefits of home ground advantage with a decoder and 1 month of GoTV value. For just 25,000 shillings, enjoy the world's biggest leagues and cap competitions. GoTV Uganda, love it.
The third edition of the Bombay Business Summit is here, starting at 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. every Friday from the 15th of October to the 12th of November. Join us via Zoom, Facebook, and YouTube as we discuss topics like surviving and thriving through the pandemic, investing in real estate, trade and investment opportunities in Uganda, alternative dispute resolution, business formalization, and inclusive resource mobilization for Uganda's economic independence. Don't miss out.
Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together.
You know, you could just buy a new smartphone from anywhere in Uganda. Dial *175*94# to activate their 100% double data bonus offer on weekly or monthly bundles for 3 months. Better yet, you automatically receive free 1 GB valid for 30 days. You are hooked already, aren't you? Enjoy 100% double data bonus from Airtel. Buy a smartphone from anywhere in Uganda and insert an Airtel SIM card. Dial *175*94# to activate a 100% data bonus offer on weekly or monthly bundles, valid for 3 months. Dial *175# and select your preferred bundle to activate a 100% data bonus offer on weekly or monthly bundles, valid for 3 months. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Vaccinated today so we can get closer to the normal way of life. Echa COVID-19 chija kugwa.
Welcome back. This is still News Tonight. Political analysts have termed the opposition move of People's Front for Transition, which is aimed at overthrowing the ruling government, as street politics aimed at fulfilling the goals of the promoters other than what they call changing of power. They say in a country like Uganda, where the economy is still affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, this does not seem to be the right time to come up with such a political pressure move.
On several occasions, opposition political parties have come out with pressure groups in the names of overthrowing the ruling government. National Resistance Movement. In 2011, Dr. Kizza Besigye, the leader of People's Government and now chairman People's Front for Transition, formed a walk-to-work pressure group. However, this move did not last for long and it was defeated within months. Last week, the opposition parties formed a political pressure group known as People's Front for Transition, with traitors as a slogan, maintaining the same aim of overthrowing the ruling government. National Resistance Movement.
When people agitate for the removal of a government before its due time, you may be bordering what in law is known as treason. Government can only be changed through a lawful process called an election.
They know that the NRM is a strong government. The whole world knows that. I'm sure the others who are funding them know that they can't simply push it out, because you can see what it did outside, where it has been.
The People's Front for Transition pressure group, which was launched at Jema's office in Kampala, attracted leaders from different political parties like Jema, FDC, UPC, CP, DP Bloc, among others. Although several pressure groups have been launched, nothing much has been yielded according to the promoters' expectations in regard to overthrowing the ruling government.
If there is reasonable suspicion that you are about to commit a crime, the police can arrest you and hold you for 48 hours to establish whether you have committed a crime, taken steps that are tantamount to a crime, or to even prevent you from committing a crime.
Professor Mulinda Rutange, lecturer at Makerere University, Department of Political Science and Public Administration, terms such move as street politics, which at times aim at praising the funders and the promoters of the move.
But some could have received money from outside, and it was a form of accountability. So we have a situation where the people must judge, is this street politics very important for us?
Professor Utanga adds that in most developing countries, such political pressure groups have worked in failing government's programs, so the public needs to be more vigilant.
Do this, like in Uganda now, we have so many cities which have come up, and every city has an industrial center or park, and every industrial park is going to have industries. So either people, the other group might be seeing it and might be saying that they are losing the ground.
If one may ask, what could be the outcomes of such political move to the economy in developing countries like Uganda?
Those who have shops, those who have businesses, who provide services, and those who import things for sale from up country, they all find that now they can't do their businesses as usual. Agriculture won't take place because we are talking of insecurity, which is by the middle class or the elite, and is now urbanized.
Political analysts say sometimes the motives of these pressure groups may seem to be minor, but some may turn into full-scale rebellions.
And let them bring something, let them not just come to implement what is there.
They need to know that they will be watched closely, and in the event that they fulfill the ingredients of a crime, ranging from inciting violence, threatening violence, to indulging in treasonous activities, action will be taken against them, definitely.
Deborah Namamonde, Nantongo Rebecca, UBC News.
Now, the government of Uganda has pledged to financially support women living in rural areas who do business while conserving the climate. This pledge follows the commemoration of the World Day for Rural Women that is celebrated annually. Uganda will celebrate the day under the theme Women Living in Rural Areas While Conserving Climate. This celebration will be held in Kayunga District, Galilaya Sub-County.
Government and non-state actors have committed to gender equality in climate change policies and responses. On its part, government of Uganda has put in place a number of policies and programs for the benefit of rural women. There has still been an alarming spike in the cases of gender-based violence witnessed during the COVID-19 period, where 22% of women experienced sexual violence during the lockdown. Jukira Juice President ngatu addressing ku Independence Day yabagamba ntecha mindset change chetujja okuteeka ku ensira ogwe mulimu gwaffe gwe tujja okukola ogw'amaanyi ennyo.
And the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industries and Fisheries, together with the Fisheries Protection Unit, are stranded with 4 lorry trucks suspected of suspected smuggled fish impounded on Sunday from Kasese at the Uganda-Congo border. Now, the cargo is suspected illegal fish from Kenya transiting through Uganda to Congo.
Four lorries impounded from Kasese on allegations of illegal fishing are parked at the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industries and Fisheries headquarters in Entebbe. To date, the owners are nowhere to be seen. The spokesperson of Fisheries Protection Unit, responsible for fighting illegal fishing, Deo Sentimba, said these lorries were from Kenya via Uganda to Congo and received information that they were smuggling immature fish.
But after stopping the drivers, for them they abandoned the vehicles and took off. So we had to organize with the Ministry of Fisheries to see how the vehicles are reaching the headquarters in Entebbe.
However, we got intelligence information. A number of our traders now play a trick of finding this fish smuggled first to Kenya, repack it, and bring it through Uganda as goods on transit to DRC.
Today, the ministry and FPU had a meeting with officials from Uganda Revenue Authority to forge a way forward before breaking the seals of the lorries to ascertain their suspicions on what is inside. However, the lorry drivers still did not turn up for the engagement with both parties to be guided by URA. They are now to seek for court order and break these seals.
So the URA team came, we had the meeting, and we agreed let them take a code, the seal code, is to find out whether really is our URA in Uganda fixed the seals to these trucks or not.
They have run to court. We have told them, yes, you have run to court, but the law is clear. We do not allow trade in immature fish. They own our licenses. So
if they find immature fish, automatically will be distributed among the locals and other groups, and lorries set free. The acts of illegal fishing on lake while using illegal fishing gears still rampant, but authorities are doing their best to curb the vice.
Meanwhile, legislators have been urged to expedite the passing of the Fisheries and Aquaculture Bill to help in fighting illegal fishing. State Minister for Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries, Helen Adoa, says these illegalities have led to the decline and disappearance of native fish species on Lake Victoria and Choga.
Minister of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries has started registration of fishermen across the country to help identify their categories. State Minister for Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries, Honorable Helen Adoa, during a visit at National Fisheries Resources Research Institute, said through the agriculture sector strategic plan, they have prioritized promoting sustainable management and utilization of large commercial fish stocks with target of 1.7 tons of fish.
When we identify fishers with their categories, if you are for silverfish or mukene, we should know how many mukena fishers do we have in Lake Victoria. How many are in this kind of, is it Nile perch, tilapia? Are you a fishermonger? Are you a processor? Are you? After categorizing them like that, then we can be able to follow them.
She reveals plans of government to close some lakes by December to allow recovery, as was done for Lake Choga.
If by December we have not realized that the fishing stocks are improving, we shall not have any choice but close the major lakes for some time, like 2-3 months.
The minister emphasized that illegal fishing and the capture of immature fish are bad practices that need to be eliminated, besides removing corrupt people from the lakes to improve natural recovery. Winnie Karubo, the Director, National Fisheries Resources Research Institute, urged the minister to intervene in the issue of land grabbers in Jinja.
Need good infrastructure for which the land is there, but now they're conflicting land interests because other people are claiming ownership of this land, and yet this land actually belongs to government.
Surveyed and protected so that we don't need to continue having land grabbers taking our land to that extent.
And government has been urged to invest more in mental health in order to reduce the major causes of the overall disease burden if unattended to. This has been disclosed by the Executive Director of Tabika Hospital, Dr. Juliet Naku, in commemoration of the World Mental Health Day in Kampala.
And for those that will have to go through.
Mental health experts have gathered in Kampala to commemorate the World Mental Health Day with a call on government to increase on investment in mental health care. The Executive Director of Tabika Hospital, Dr. Juliet Naku, says there is need for universal health coverage and easy access to mental health care.
At least 10% of the global burden of disease has been attributed to mental, neurological, and substance abuse disorder. This is from the Global Burden of Disease study 2010. Yet, the level of investment in mental health in low-income countries is a paltry 0.5 to 1% of health budgets.
Juliet Naku says integrating mental health at all levels of healthcare by using door approach in service delivery must be emphasized. Educating the public about mental health and the need of socio-economic policies was identified as important. The chairperson, Parliamentary Committee Mental Health, Honorable Macho Geoffrey, vowed to ensure that mental health issues are mainstreamed in Parliament.
We need government to make sure that it gives enough money to the Ministry of Health to be able to facilitate mental health in all health sectors in this country.
Macho urged the Ministry of Health to employ more experts in mental health.
We're about to take a quick break. When we return, business news. This is News Tonight.
Today in history.
The murder of Uganda's former president Idi Amin's top aide, Bob Assells, started in the Uganda High Court. Assel, a Briton, was charged jointly with Charles Tindyewa for murdering Henry Musisi, a fisherman at Katusi village on Lake Victoria. The post-mortem was conducted on 3rd August 1979, 2 years after Musisi's death. Assell's lawyers were Philip Wilson and George Bamuturaki, while Tindyewa's lawyer was Protazio Ayijihugu.
Be alert. Do not share your Airtel Money PIN number with anyone. Airtel Uganda employees will never ask for your Airtel Money PIN number on call, SMS, or by email. All SIM card registrations, SIM card verifications, or SIM swaps are done at clearly branded Airtel shops and not on phone. To report any fraudulent activity, please call 100 immediately. The official calling number for Airtel promotions is 0200 100 100. Stay alert on Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
Getting GoTV was the best decision James has ever made. Finding a good place to watch football was never easy, but it was costly until James discovered something big. Now he can finally enjoy the benefits of homegrown advantage with a decoder and 1 month of GoTV value. For just 25,000 shillings, enjoy the world's biggest leagues and cap competitions. GoTV Uganda, love it.
Welcome back. Now in business news, Uganda has lost more than $458 million in form of taxes in the last 1 year to illicit trade of alcohol. This is according to the just released Euromonitor report on illicit alcohol trade in the country. The report also shows a significant increase in the illicit consumption of alcohol during the lockdown period. Let's take a look.
Illicit trade and consumption of alcohol in Uganda is on the rise, and the impact on the society and the economy is worrying. The situation has been aggravated by the COVID-19 pandemic that has impacted negatively on disposable income. Legitimate manufacturers under the Uganda Alcohol Industry Association are crying foul.
We're bleeding. For sure, we are bleeding. The market share we would have right now cannot compare to what we would have had if this issue was not there.
And we hope once more our voice will be heard that government needs to do much more to bring that majority under control and to appreciate us as people who are with it, who pay taxes, who employ Ugandans, who create incomes.
Euromonitor survey values the total illicit alcohol market size by the end of 2021 at $1.9 billion.
We have now been informed that actually we are losing, Mr. Kagwa, 1.6 trillion in terms of revenue out of this illicit trade. It is also dangerous to our health.
Government promises to respond urgently on the matter, not only to save the legitimate players from unfair competition, but also widen the tax base and protect its citizens from harmful products.
So it is something that has brought me here to join you in condemning. So our common ground this morning is really condemnation of illicit trade, not anything else.
Our government recognizes that alcohol control can take on a multi-sectoral approach, and I think that's why we are all here, involving Ministry of Health, Gender, Labor and Social Development, Justice and Law and Order, Trade and Industry, Finance and Civil Society. It's a shared responsibility for us to be able to control illicit trade.
Besides the illegal trade, the alcohol industry in Uganda is grappling with the COVID-19 lockdown measures that have led to reduced consumption and demand due to indefinite closure of bars and entertainment spots.
So we are not happy with the pandemic, but also we are not happy with the way our business is interpreted as not able to observe SOPs.
Charlotte Amuge and Dennis Igoa for UBC News.
And government is implementing a multi-billion projects to position Ugandans through skills, training and enhancement to enable them take on infrastructure projects. A National Science, Technology, Engineering and Innovation Skills Enhancement Project is funded by the Exim Bank of China to the tune of $84.7 million US, that is approximately 368 billion Uganda shillings.
Situated on a 45-acre piece of land, this National Science, Technology, Engineering and Innovation Skills Enhancement Center is under construction in Rebitete in Chiruhura District, Western Uganda. The project is funded by the Exim Bank of China to a tune of $84.7 million US. That is approximately 368 billion Uganda shillings, and is implemented by Uganda National Council for Science and Technology. The aim of this project is to enhance the technological and skilled base of Ugandans to enable them participate in national infrastructural projects and manufacturing sector.
We have various programs that we shall be running. There are programs that run for 3 months, 6 months, 8 months, 12 months, 2 years here. Now, there are people in university who have been trained as engineers, but just want to come and sharpen themselves on some aspect. They come here for a short program, they will be skilled in those 7 areas that we have talked about. There are people who are completely from nowhere but need to acquire skill. They will come to this center and they will be provided with the skill.
This innovation center will also take part in the manufacture of some parts of machinery to feed in the country's developing industrial sector.
Flexible factory manufacturing and infrastructure learning model. Now that model is unique in a way that you don't just come here to learn the theory and practice, but we also have mini factories within here that you should be able to produce some item, a component. If you are in automotive, we expect you to produce a part, a car part, which can be used in Kira Motors.
This innovation center has 7 hubs that include automotive technology, agricultural mechanization, civil engineering technology, and construction machinery technology, and is expected to retool 1,500 Ugandans ranging from craftsmen, youth, and technicians on an annual basis.
We have over like 250 local and only 40 Chinese. So most of the work is being done by the locals.
The center is expected to be complete by December 2024. Adiana Kote, UBC.
And journalism world over is experiencing a paradigm shift due to increased ownership and the vast use of new media channels and devices. This was highlighted at the East Festival 2021, an annual event organized by the Media Challenge Initiative that brings together professional media practitioners from Uganda, Kenya and Tanzania to deliberate on how to leverage media trends as they ascend.
The COVID-19 pandemic is fueling various innovations that threaten print and broadcast media business norms that have existed for over 50 decades in Uganda.
Even before the pandemic, the media was struggling with the tech giants that are taking over advertisement, and that meant that the advertisements that you were getting traditionally are dwindling. And with the coming of the pandemic, a lot of even the few advertisers that the media had also pulled out because they had to save their own funding.
Fortunately, initiatives such as the annual East Festival have enabled practitioners to stay updated with the growing trends, enabling the discovery of new media revenue channels.
But a lot has to be done in order to remain afloat, because the environment may never be the same again in the shortest time possible. So you have to focus a little wider and cast your net so wide to see how to remain in this very competitive era where we are, because the resources are becoming extremely scarce. And in order for you to encroach on them, you have to have what it takes to attract the biggest portion of the readership, the listenership, and the viewership.
Fresh graduates of journalism express optimism in the diversity new media is presenting. They reiterate how hard it is to join mainstream broadcast and print media houses today.
I should say I'm one of the luckiest few young people in Uganda who have had the privilege to smoothly enter into the media space. And this is because, one, I happen to have studied in Makerere University, so there is the privilege of getting an education. But most importantly, I did not just attend school, I had practical experience with the Media Challenge Fellowship.
We're no longer going to TV to look for, space and to look for your shows or anchoring or anything. We are coming up with ideas, viable ideas, for example, fact-checking, and this is something that is needed in the community. So I, as a new entrant, I would like to, I bring up a project like fact-checking, which I know it is not there in the media industry today, and it's something new. So I'm creating impact at the end of the day.
A 2020 Geopoll survey found that the leading information source for Ugandans on coronavirus-related news was radio at 44%, TV as the second most common information source with 34%, and social media coming in third at 20%. Wadulo Makanold, UBC News.
You know, you could just buy a new smartphone from anywhere in Uganda. Dial *175 *94 hash to activate their 100% double data bonus offer on weekly or monthly bundles for 3 months. Better yet, you automatically receive free 1 GB valid for 30 days. You are hooked already, aren't you? Enjoy 100% double data bonus from Airtel. Buy a smartphone from anywhere in Uganda and insert an Airtel SIM card. Dial *175 *94 hash to activate a 100% data bonus offer on weekly or monthly bundles, valid for 3 months. Dial *175 hash and select your preferred bundle to activate a 100% data bonus offer on weekly or monthly bundles, valid for 3 months. Airtel, the smartphone network.
And now in sports, Federation of Motorsport Clubs of Uganda has launched the 2-day Kabalega Rally that starts on the 22nd of October in Bunyoro districts of Chikube and Hoima. The rally has already confirmed participation of 24 drivers, including current national championship leader Duncan Mubiru, Hassan Alwi, Fred Chitaka, Omar Mayanja, Ronald Sebuguzi, Rajiv Perelia, and Iyas Mangat.
The second one is worldwide movers, which is 25 kilometers. It will be done thrice, and Uganda T stage will be done thrice. We have transport competitive of 160 kilometers. We expect to start on the 23rd at 9 o'clock, Mika Eco Hotel, and finish at around 5 p.m. at Hotel Contic. That's where we shall have given our prize. So far we have 24 drive entries. We expect to close our entries on this Saturday, and we don't think we shall exceed 40 entries.
And with that, let's quickly take a look at the top stories for the night.
Brought to you by
how to get points. Just use MTN to make calls, send SMS, load airtime, buy bundles, or pay for MTN subscription services.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Uganda's COVID-19 positive rate drops from 21% to 3.4%. Vice President Jessica Lupo challenges ministers to live by the oath of secrecy. While Euromonitor releases damning report on illicit alcohol trade. And in sports, Bunyoro braces for revving aces as top drivers rest to Kabalega Rally.
Was brought to you by Everywhere You Go, MTN.
Well, that does it for news tonight. Elizabeth Nakakoni on Sign Language. I am Rodha Ngonzi. Do have a lovely night.
Beyond Beauty Parlor and Spa, your beautification destination. We believe in suitable beauty. We offer pedicure and manicure, makeup, hairstyling, plating, weaving, dreadlocks, massage, waxing, facial and body scrub. Name